I used to believe that life would get easier as you age. Spoiler alert, they don't. They just give you 6 hard truths that shape you to being who you become. And these are my 6 truths.
Only been a few hours, but it felt like days. Only been days, but it felt like months. Only gone for a year, only know like once. Life moves fast when you do what you want.
Hey y'all, I'm Bree, and welcome to Raw Reflections. This is a series where I, as a Black woman, on a growth journey, get real about the life lessons nobody warned us about. Sit back, y'all, it's gonna be a doozy. Now today, I'm sharing with you 6 lessons that hurt me the most. They really did, but they made me who I am today. And I hope these lessons remind you that you're not alone on your path to growth. So what I want you to do is hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your post notifications so you won't miss an upload from me. Now, as I always do, I'm going to give a disclaimer. I'm not a therapist, not a life coach, not a medical professional. I'm just sharing my journey on the internet. So if you need any professional help, please seek it. There's no shame in getting the support. Now, let's get on to the lessons. The first lesson that I had to learn that was hard for me to learn in myself, that I was my biggest critic, not really my cheerleader. Here's how it goes. A lot of outside voices start to get in my head and drown it with negativity. I missed out on a lot of fun things and being able to do the things I want to do because I was always being a critic towards myself and down in myself. And the thing that helped me the most with this lesson is I had to really start healing myself from within. And what allowed me to heal and grow is when I challenged every negative thought that would come into my mind with actual facts. And the more I would challenge myself and the more I would challenge my negative thoughts with actual concrete facts that would show the opposite, the more I will realize that, I shouldn't be as negative to myself and should be as critical to myself as I am. Like I said, through healing myself, through learning who I truly am and learning what I truly want to be by asking the questions I need to ask within myself, I learned that, being a critic to myself was not going to actually give me the life I want to live. So, biggest lesson right there is you can't be your biggest critic while trying being your biggest cheerleader. So here's the lesson that I want to impart on you from the work I learned. Encourage yourself as fiercely as you hold yourself accountable. Remember, there's a difference between being a critic to a certain extent and holding yourself accountable. All right, so let's move on. Lesson number 2. Kindness given does not equal kindness back. Saying, do unto others as you would like them. How does it go? Sometimes I don't know why I be tripping up on the saying. Do unto others as you will have them to do unto you. That's the saying. There we go. I was going to get it. Sometimes I have to slow down for my brain. And as a kid, I really took that saying to heart. And technically, I still do. I'm going to be honest with y'all. I am that type of person. I give kindness because I want kindness back. I try to treat people as fairly as I possibly can because I want to be treated fairly as possibly can. Now, here's the reality of it all. I am human. I still make mistakes, and I might not be as kind as I should be on some days. But however, this lesson was a hard lesson for me because most of the time I try to walk in kindness. I try to be fair. I try to be the best I possibly can, being human. And a lot of times, kindness was given back to me. I had to put it on a scale, probably a good 75 to 80% of the time. When I give out kindness, kindness is given back to me. Now that other 20, and when I say that other 20, it really used to blow me as a kid. Not so much now as an adult, after I've learned this lesson. And then, another thing that really blew me, and it probably blew me more, don't be my friend, don't be my family, don't be anybody what I deem like, okay, you in my circle of trust. Don't be in that circle of trust and you don't give kindness back to me.
It used to be blow, for real.
Now, you know, that's one of them top ones that kind of bother me. You can see why I'm still like stuck on it. It used to really get into my spirit, and for a long time I didn't even know how to like maneuver within that, because I'm like, how you gonna do me this? You know who I am, you know my character. Why would you even do something like that to me? Like, why would you even? Anyways, long story short, the way I happen to learn and grow through the truth of kindness given does not equal kindness back. So I gave my life to Christ at 19. And in the beginning stages of giving my life to Christ and trying to, you know, learn more about how to be Christ-like, I would read as much as I can and could understand. And I'm still working on reading and understanding the stories in the Bible. And one of the things I really learned is, you know, despite how the world was around Jesus, Jesus tried his very best, and he did a very good job. And I'm not saying, he didn't do an excellent job. I'm saying I could be more like this. Component of what I understand Jesus' life to be is to extend kindness to people, no matter what's going on in the world and no matter how the world may treat you back. And also, too, I remember this saying my mother used to impart on me before I gave my life to Christ when I was younger. She really made a big inference on, you know, the very people that Jesus came to save turned their back on him. So those two stories, and then just really, like I did in lesson 1, just sitting down and figuring out who I am and how I want to show up in the world, it really helped me with the whole, okay, I just because the world is not going to treat me kind all the time doesn't mean I stop being kind. But also, too, and this is for my, I guess what's the term, former people pleasers, because I probably was a little bit in that boat. Kindness does not equate you being a pushover. Now, this is a big thing I had to learn within this kindness journey. You should be kind to people, because being kind is what is needed in the world right now. However, you do not need to be a pushover. You and I learned this too, need to have boundaries. Say it with me now. We need to establish boundaries. Being kind to yourself first and foremost is establishing boundaries. Being kind to yourself second of all is also standing 10 toes on those boundaries. So if you put down a boundary and you tell the person your boundary and they still hopscotch, skip, and jump over said boundary, third, being kind to yourself is learning that your boundary is more important than the actual person that is hopscotching over the boundary, and you need to act accordingly. You see me? Oh, okay. Got it. All right. Now, here's a lesson I want you to learn. Being kind and keeping boundaries equals protecting your peace. You can't be kind to yourself and to others if you don't have boundaries for yourself and for others. I'm just saying. All right, let's move on. Number 3. You know that old country song, you gotta know when to hold 'em, know when to fold 'em, know when to walk away, and know when to run. Don't say nothing about my singing, okay? I already know. Yeah, but that song is very true, and that is, you know when to hold them, you know when to fold them. You do need to know when to walk away, and you do need to know when to run. Now, this lesson really was taught to me by 2 different people around the same time, 2 different situations. Friendship, we were friends from most of the teenage years, we'll just put it like that. This friendship was rocky. This friendship was rough for me. I don't know how the other person feels. I haven't talked to the other person in years. This friendship was rocky for me. This friendship was rocky for my family to see. This friendship was rocky to experience. And it was rocky because in my heart of hearts, like I said, kindness, being self-critic, all the things. This friendship was rocky because I'm gonna just be honest. I think this person wanted a high kick duo, and I was like, I thought we was just gonna be friends on the same level playing field. That wasn't the case. And for years, my mother was like, I just want you to please leave this person alone. And me being me, just like, but I just want to give them the benefit of the doubt. Like, I mean, they my friend. They've been my friend for X amount of years. We have fun when we hang out together. Friendship was draining me. It didn't feel equal. It didn't feel fun at times. It felt like more of I'm playing follow the leader. And it really came to a head 2 times, but the second time really was the last straw. The first time, I take the blame. It was my fault. I should have just stood up for myself in that moment. I didn't. It is what it is. I can own my mistakes as a 32-year-old because when it happened, I was 18. It's not like I was really thinking with this. This wasn't really developed yet. The second time it happened, rekindled the friendship, and I was going through a difficult time in my life. I'm not sure if she was going through a difficult time. I know when I think about it, probably was too. So in this second time, kind of both lack of communication, and I probably was kind of just tired of being in this friendship and feeling the way I was feeling. And I think what the difficulties I was going through at that moment, and it kind of exasperated me, and it got to the point I was like, yeah, I gotta walk away from this. I really do. Like I can't even say I want to deal with this no more. I initiated the ending of the friendship the second time, and the initiation was done. Now, second situation, probably, so the first one happened at 19, the second one happened at 21. I decided I was gonna be grown. For real, let me stop playing. At 21, I decided, okay, having a boyfriend at this particular time would be cool. Get a boyfriend. And I'm gonna be honest with you, when I think back on it now, wish this person nothing but the best, I really do. But we probably shouldn't have been dating each other at this particular time as well. Just too many life events going on in both of our lives that did not make the relationship, good long term. And I say long term, we didn't even make it a year. But I learned a lot from that relationship, and I'm still continuing to learn a lot from that relationship. And I put the relationship in this knowing to walk away situation because, like I said in the previous lesson, boundary crossed, stand on business, walk away. Like I said, it was my junior year. I was like this close to being a senior. I had been in school for a good bit of years. I don't have time for the drama. It's nothing bad happened, really. It's just a situation I just didn't want to be a part of. I didn't feel comfortable as far as like the dynamics of what was going on at that time. I expressed early on if this dynamic in this relationship was going to be an issue, I'm gonna have to go. So when said situation caused a little bit of drama, I was just like, yeah, no. Immediately no. I'm like Justin Bieber, immediately no.
I don't care.
Yeah, immediately no.
I'm good. 2 situations, two kind of similar time periods in my life. As much as I cared about both of these people, I had to walk away. Like I had no choice but to walk away. I had to do what was best for me by walking away. So this is a lesson I want to leave you with. Letting go, sometimes, most times, depending on the situation, is the most powerful act of self-love you can ever bestow upon yourself. Next point. 4. Número 4. Trying to get my Spanish. Listen, lesson number 4 that was really painful for me to learn, and I'm still learning to this day. You literally can start off life at a disadvantage and still win. And when I say at a disadvantage, this is my example of a disadvantage. Advantage, disadvantage, how you can look at it. Now, me, my life, my disadvantages. Being black, being a woman, growing up poor, financial issues that also almost jeopardized my future. I was born with a respiratory illness that I struggled with for the first 14, 15 years of my life, and it made things really difficult. Asthma is difficult. Asthma can be lifelong. Asthma can be fatal. Poverty. I am the product of Section 8. I ain't no shame in my game when I say it. I'm black. It's advantage, disadvantage, however you look at it. Systemically, it's a disadvantage sometimes. I'm a woman. Systemically, it can be a disadvantage. Also, some disadvantages I've had along the way. Many people don't know this, but I've also been almost kicked out of college twice. One financially, and one due to my grades. Had a couple of odds stacked against me in the deck. But however, the karma, you still put your nose down, grind, and do the very best that you can do. This is the lesson that I want to impart from you, because that one is really one that like really touches my heart, and it keeps me going every single day. Your beginning does not determine your ending. Your grit, your determination, your ability to pull it and get yourself out the mud. I hate saying that, but it's really true. When it's used correctly. Your ability to like be persistent and have faith in yourself is going to be the main reason that determines how your story ends. Your beginning is not a end all be all. Now, it's going to make things a little bit harder. Don't get it twisted. I'm not saying it's not going to be hard. Depending on how you start, you might have an easier time floating, or you might have a harder time floating, but just float. Just do what you got to do. Just put your head down and keep your blinders on and keep pushing. That's all I'm asking for you. Ooh, I'm talking a lot, am I? I'm talking a lot, but I'm talking a lot because this is Raw Reflections, and in Raw Reflections, I'm reflecting on my life so I can tell you how to navigate yours a little bit, or just give you a little bit of wisdom, however you look at it. All right, so lesson number 5. Lesson number 5 really is forgiveness is freedom. Now, this lesson was kind of a doozy, is because this lesson really was a combination of all the other lessons I probably said just far. If not all of them, a good chunk of them. I was not forgiving myself and not forgiving others sometimes. I'm gonna be honest. Robbing myself of joy by not forgiving myself. I really was holding on to pain that didn't even belong to me when I really sat back and thought about it. I find forgiveness was hard to do for me due to the fact when it comes to myself, that whole being self-critical was like the forefront. Because sometimes, depending on what the mistake was, I felt like I should have known better. I felt like I'm smarter and more capable. I felt like, why would I make that mistake? Why would I even put myself in these situations for that mistake to even happen? It came to forgiving other people. Depending on what they did, I probably was, more inclined to forget. Now, if you did something to me and I'm like, okay, you really, really hurt my feelings, it took me a minute. It took me a minute. And I don't think sometimes, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't even think sometimes I even forgave. I probably just pushed it in the back of my mind, and then it would come up again. Now, why is this on the lesson board, you might ask? Like I said, the pandemic really was a catalyst for me to really sit with myself and start learning like who I am and what I wanted to be. I hate that the pandemic really ever happened in this world, but that was like the time I really was forced to sit down and start like really learning myself and figuring out what I wanted to be and who I wanted to show up as. There have been things I'm like, okay, I can't even go forward if I don't forgive myself for these past transgressions or mistakes or things I didn't know, whatever name you want to put on them. But what really, 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 and I mean really helped was, how do I talk about it? When I found out my brother passed away, really sat back and just was like, you know what? I gotta work on forgiving people for real. Now, I had been working on it for a while, but I think his passing really pushed more than ever. Before he passed, we had gotten into like a big disagreement, and previous lesson, had to stand on my boundary. We didn't really speak for a while. And when he came to apologize, I was like, okay, I forgave him because that's my brother. I love him, still love him. But it was more of, I was angry all the time about things. And I forgave him not knowing, like, ooh, my heart is like really beating fast as I'm speaking on it. I'm sorry. I forgave him not knowing that a couple of weeks later, he would no longer be on this earth. But I'm saying his passing really pushed it for me because I immediately started thinking, like, a week or two after he passed, like, what if I did not forgive him when he asked me for forgiveness? I will be in way worse shape than what I am now. His passing really pushed me to really forgive for real, because I don't want that person that I'm mad at to not be here anymore. And then I'm literally thinking like, now what was I mad at them for? I don't want to live life wondering that person knows how I loved them and I really cared about them before they passed. I want them to know that in this flesh and in this spirit right now. So I say all that, and one, as you could see me earlier, was really one that was heavy on me. Like, I had to say it. I had to be the one to say it. I just wanted to share that with you because I do understand that forgiveness is a hard thing to do, especially in this day and era. Forgiveness is hard. Forgiveness is tough. Forgiveness is rough because it sometimes can feel like you're forgiving the person for the behaviors that they've done to you, and you are left with the emotional turmoil. Meanwhile, they're going on and they're living their life all happy-go-lucky, and you are left with the baggage. It's never saying, I'm okay with what you did to me, because you probably are not okay with what you did. But forgiveness really is learning how to maneuver. Okay, they've done something to me, they've hurt my feelings, but how can I maneuver and work on moving past this particular action or thing and do the actions I need to do accordingly, moving on in life so you can be the best person you can be. I'm just saying, I don't like to be in emotional bondage. That's what my brother's death has taught me. So I'm learning to forgive more. And forgiveness for me, that's all I can say is, I'm not okay with what people have done to me. If they've done something to hurt my feelings, I do state in that moment if they've done something to hurt my feelings. I do try to talk to them and hash it out if I can. And if I can't, I am okay with I love you, I care about you, but it might need to be some distance until we can move forward. That's how I'm working with forgiveness. All right, so that was lesson 5. Now, we're going to the final lesson, the greatest lesson, the most important lesson, and the lesson I am currently living in today. You gotta be able to, you gotta design the life that you want. Not what people are telling you, the life that you want. All right. So, how did I learn this lesson? 9 seems to be the age where I really thought life was just going to be what I want to be. So I thought by the time I hit this age of, I just turned 32 June 13th. So happy belated birthday to me. I thought at 32, I was going to be married, 2 kids, I guess, maybe 3, a career woman. What did I thought I was going to be doing? Oh, I was going to be owning my own psychiatric practice in Atlanta, living in the outskirts of Atlanta. I thought I saw that at 32 when I was 9. Well, I'm at 32, and this is what I've accomplished out of that 9-year-old thing. I had to graduate high school. I had to graduate college. I had to have my own psychiatric practice in Atlanta. Married, 2 kids. No 2 kids, not married, no psychiatric practice. So 2 out of the 5. The other 3, the psychiatric practice ain't coming. I went to school for history, minored in music, and now I'm a home health aide. So we can just scratch the psychiatric practice. coming off. What I really wanted was to own my own business so I don't have to show up to a corporate job. Now, granted, I work from home as a home health aide, so I'm kind of like halfway there and working on figuring out how to do like social media as a business, yada, yada, yada. So we're kind of getting to a third. The married and the kids. I did say that at 9. I didn't understand dating and kids at 9. I understand better now. And I'm like, if it don't work out for me in this lifetime, hey, I'm not going to die if it don't happen. But I say all that to say, like, you know, when we're younger, especially women of color, we're kind of being force-fed a lot of information of what our life should look like. You're supposed to hit these goals and markers by this age. And a lot of us, those who have entered and crossed over to the 30 threshold, those of us who are entering the 30 threshold, those of us who will be entering the 30 threshold sooner or later, we all have this one thing in common. Whatever age threshold we enter in, most of us have this one thing in common. We ain't got to where we were supposed to by a certain age and the checklist hasn't been checked. We think something's wrong with us. And I'm here to tell you, there is nothing wrong with you. You are fine. What it is you had this one vision of life that you mapped out based on what you knew at the age you mapped it out. As you have grown and learned more about yourself along the way, a lot of times the things you mapped out or the things you thought you wanted, you actually probably don't want for real. Or sometimes it's not going to come when you think they should come. Because to be honest with you, at 32, I shouldn't be married and with kids now. Like, listen, there's some things I'm still not mature enough to handle that comes with kids and marriage. I'm getting there. I'm learning myself. I'm growing. I'm trying to expand my mind. So when or if those situations do happen, I am doing them the correct way so I won't damage the other people that are going to be involved. But at 9, I didn't know enough to be like, marriage, kids, that sounds cool. I can do it. So I'm not really as upset years ago. I didn't know myself well enough. I didn't know, what type of wife I wanted to be. I didn't know really what type of mother I wanted to be. I knew a lot about the things probably I didn't want to implement, or the things I didn't want to do, or the things I didn't want to put up with. But what about the things I do want to do? The things I do want to implement? I kind of want to live a life where I travel and see the world, and my kids are homeschooled and they get, non-traditional learning. I do want a husband that is like God-fearing and supportive and, knows how to lead, et cetera, et cetera. And I didn't know all that stuff until probably maybe a year ago. So I'm not really upset that the life I thought I want at 9 didn't really pan out. I didn't even live life to understand what I want. So I'm saying all that to say, don't live a life based on how other people are telling you to live. Do things based on what other people are telling you to do. Do things based on what's going to make you happy, what's going to make you feel good, and what's going to make you excited to live life and to breathe positivity and lovingness out into the world. That sounds so cheesy. Love, you can't be free. You can't do none of this stuff. If you're not living the life you want to live, none of the other lessons won't matter as much. So that's the thing I want to leave you on. And the lesson I want to say is create a life with intention, courage, and zero apology. Thank you for sticking with me. I love you so much. It's like this, the kids, how the kids are doing it these days? This is how the kids are doing it these days. Or if you're in Korea, I guess. I don't know. I'm young and old at the same time. I don't be understanding, Lord, help me. I come to you with a smiling face, but I'm gonna be honest with you, these lessons were a lot to learn. It came with a lot of tears, they came with a lot of heartbreak, and they came with a lot of growing pains. I'm really grateful for all 6 of these lessons. They have been very impactful in my life. They've been very instrumental in shaping who I am as a person. What I want to impart and leave with you and let you know from these 6 lessons that growth is extremely messy, but growth is worth it. Before you leave out of here for real, I know you probably are like, okay, ma'am, let's wrap it up. I'm about to. Which lesson hit you the hardest? I want to know in the comments. Or what was the painful truths that you went through in your life that shaped you? I also want to learn that in the comments. Before you go out the door, make sure you smash the like button, please. That helps me. Hit the subscribe button so you can get more raw reflections from me. And turn on the post notification or that little bell that's down there somewhere. So don't miss more raw reflections when I do more raw reflections. And, that's it.